Hey guys, what's going on today? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing kind of an exciting video. It's something I've been looking forward to doing for a while. I have a truck that I haven't even introduced to the channel before, but it's a second gen. It's an 02. And today on that truck we're going to be testing some different tuners for it. So I've grabbed a couple of the more common tuners. I've got a Smarty, I've got an Edge juice comp, which is like the Edge juice with the hot unlock, and also it has a competition level too, so it's 7 levels. And then I also have the new Edge comp box 2.0, and I have a Quadzilla as well. So I'll just do a pop outside and do a quick little overview on the truck. It's a 2002, so last year, second gen. It's got 200 horsepower DDP injectors, custom 64mm turbo. It's got meth, head studded, built trans, fast. Right now it has the Edge juice competition in it, made a touch over 700. That's pretty much all that's done to it right now. Do have some plans for it obviously in the future, but it's a pretty nice truck. It's in good shape, lower kilometers for the year. But before we can pop this thing on the dyno, gotta pull off this whole truck that we're putting together right now. It's a pretty cool little setup. Guys put twin pumps on it yesterday, both engine, D&J side draft, triple disc. It's MV 5600, but go ahead and get this off the dyno and then we'll get the second gen on. Alright guys, so we're all set up here. Truck strapped down, front and back, the exhaust pipe on, dyno's on. So basically right now it's fired up, and we'll just kind of let it roll. Then we can tighten up the straps a bit. All right guys, so since the truck already has the Edge juice in it, that'll be our first test. I'll do 5 and then 6, which is the hot unlock, and then 7, which is the competition. Then I have the Smarty. My plan with the Smarty is I'll just put it on the highest level and see what it does. And then I'll put it on 8, which is added fueling at the highest level, and run it with the Edge and see what it does. Obviously, this is the brand new Comp 2.0, so try that on the highest level. For the Quadzilla, I have a couple options. So for the Quadzilla, what I'll do is I'll run it on 10 factory, and then I have a couple, I bought some custom tunes from it from kind of the most reputable VP Quadzilla tuners, so then we'll run those and we'll just see what kind of difference it makes in power. I do have a couple of other tests I'd like to do, like does a stack make more power versus a tailpipe, because it lets the exhaust out faster, less restriction. I also have a grid heater delete. Does that make more power because it allows airflow? It might be all minute changes, but it's kind of what you need to do to make power on a VP truck. this was the Edge juice on tune 5. Next we'll do it on the hot unlock tune 6. It actually made a bit less power on tune 6, which is kind of interesting. Shouldn't really be that warm. I'll have to monitor the boost gauge more carefully. I think it was only making like 35 or 40 pounds of boost, which is pretty low. Only 435. She's definitely down on power. Alright guys, so this is 2 pulls with no tune at all on, and we're making very similar boost, which is just a touch under 40 pounds. I guess one other problem with this truck, and if you guys are from Alberta, you might actually recognize it. This was Deb Barrett's truck. It was known as the Mouse. I didn't buy it from her. There was a guy in between, and when Deb had it, it had 200 horsepower injectors. But buddy that I bought it from said it had 100 horsepower injectors, but also he doesn't really know. So I do have a much larger set of injectors and a bigger pump I'm gonna put on it. But it would just be nice if all the testing was done on the same setup. So regardless of what kind of power it's making right now, I'm still gonna do my tests. That way it's all on an even playing field. So next I'm gonna add the Smarty in on the highest level. I'm gonna run the Edge on the highest level, and then we'll see how that does. One thing I actually forgot that this truck has is the BD RAD box, which eliminates all the defueling, basically tells the ECM to mind its own business. So I'm gonna do a run with that because I actually forgot this truck had that. I'm gonna do it with no tuner on and see what it makes, and then I'll turn the Edge back on and then we'll see what it makes. Alright guys, so with the RAD box, it picked up over another 100 horsepower. So this was the Edge juice, level 7. This is level 7 with the RAD box. This is stock with the RAD box. Did have a bit of a hiccup here. The VP on this truck is pretty old and it's been pretty bagged on. I do wonder if it's getting a bit tired, but that's a pretty impressive gain. Alright guys, so I'm fairly happy with that. It should be making more, but you know, like I said, it has made over 700 horsepower before on just fuel, but I almost wonder if that tuner is pretty old. I wonder how much of a difference putting the new Edge is gonna make. But anyway, right now we're gonna add the Smarty. I'll do it one run with the RAD box on, and then I'll do another run with the RAD box off. We'll compare the difference. So for the Smarty, we're gonna use level 8, which will be the highest, but without timing because the Edge is gonna add the timing. And then, like I said, after that, what we'll do is we'll turn the Edge to 0. I'll do a run with the Smarty, but I'll turn it up to level 9. So it's the same as level 8, but this time the Smarty is doing the timing advance. All right, so this run's gonna be the Smarty on level 8, the Edge on level 7, and the RAD box. Also, I was thinking I should probably take the air filter off. It's a pretty cool, you know, like AFE street one, but I'm sure that's very restrictive. sure you guys will hear in the video, there's gonna be like a huge dip in the dyno graph there. It sounded weird. So actually, a bit less power with that in the Smarty. I think from what I see in the mirror, it might have fueled a little harder down low, but it didn't quite do peak power, which I'm pretty sure back in the day, I remember reading on the forum, like guys would add the Smarty because it would fuel down low, basically for getting the truck off the line faster, and they would kind of just give up a little bit up top. All right, this will be our last run with the Edge involved. So I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing as last time. So juice level 7, Smarty level 8, rad box on, and this time I took the air filter off. So we'll see what kind of gains it made. It made 565 last time with this setup, so we'll see what kind of difference you make by getting rid of the air filter. So basically that was with the air filter on, that was without. Picked up like a little under 10 horsepower. All right, so the Edge is now set to 0. I've put in the Smarty to 9. We'll see what it does. I'm gonna leave the Edge connected simply because my fuel pressure gauge doesn't work, this mechanical one, but I have one through the Edge that also works. It's been good so far. You know, 18 at idle and then drops to 15 on the run, which is plenty for a V3. Guys, here's some more data. So if you know anything about these trucks, you probably shouldn't be surprised by these numbers. Smarties suck on their own. They're mainly for if you have other tuners like an Edge comp or like a TS or a TST, like you add the Smarty in on the lower level. But this right here is Smarty, rad box, and Edge with the air filter on. Same thing, no air filter. This is the Smarty and the rad box on, no air filter. This is the Smarty with the rad box off, no air filter. So I guess similar numbers to what the Edge did, but without the rad box helping it. All right guys, so now I'm gonna pull the Smarty out, I'm gonna pull the juice out, I'm gonna install the new Comp Box 2.0. All right guys. New Comp 2.0 box is installed. Controller for it. Kind of cool. Wireless now. You can also control it from your phone like how the Quadzilla is with the iQuad. Yeah, we'll just get some temp in this thing and see what it runs. Guys, 580, the new Edge Comp 2.0, that's without the rad box on. So if you remember, the Smarty and the Edge Juice both made around the 430 mark without the rad box on. So that's a pretty substantial gain without having the rad box on. So I'm going to turn the rad box on now and then we'll see what it makes. All right, guys, so those are the numbers with the new comp 2.0. Pretty consistent around like the 580-ish mark. I had this run here where I really dragged the brakes and it built a bit more boost, but I also can't really know if I can count that one. I mean, I guess I can. It did downshift, but the spike on it was after downshifting came back up, like it's right there. But I don't know, I don't think you can really count it. You kind of can, but the RAD box didn't seem to make a big difference with the Edge comp. Like a few horsepower. I will say though, it fuels extremely hard. The hardest fueling box of them all for sure. All right, guys, so I think the last test that I'll do for today is I'll put the Smarty on. I'll try it on level 4 and I'll try it on level 8 and see what it does. And then I'm waiting for an adapter harness to come in to run the Quadzilla on an O2. I have the other 2 adapters for the map sensor, but not this one. So it'll be here this week. I'll put that in, compare it, like I said, with the box tunes and the custom tunes. And then after that, we'll be changing the setup completely. This is just strictly out of curiosity and to make a video so, you know, some VP guys are still making content. Another thing, like I said, this truck has previously made over 700 horsepower. It's quite a few years ago now. I'm wondering, I know the VP is about 6 years old. I'm wondering if it's just kind of getting tired. With the updates that I'm doing to the truck, that won't really matter anyway because I'll be getting rid of this VP, but we would like to get it up in that power range again. I'm sure the 64 on it is getting pretty tapped, but that's going to be upgraded as well. And also as well as a different manifold and a switch to a steed speed. So changes are to come, but a few weeks from now there's a dirt drag event that we want to bring this to, so it's kind of in the air whether I put the bigger setup on before that or just run it. Alright guys, this is going to be probably the last run for today. I'm just putting the Smarty on level 2, which is just extra fueling and boost fueling. This is Smarty level 4, this is Smarty level 8, and this was just the comp. The comp's on level 5 for each of these runs. Alright guys, did a couple more runs. So this is the Smarty on level 2, which is just more fueling and boost fueling. And then this is the same thing but with the RAD box turned on. I'm gonna look at the videos and kind of depending on if it lights faster, or lights harder, fuels harder, I might just leave the Smarty on level 2. If it looks the same as if when I don't have the Smarty on, then there's no sense in having the Smarty on. I'll just take it off. So after about 20 dyno runs, this was full. We're about there. That's about how much meth we used. If anyone was curious. All right guys, well I'm back at home now. I think what I'm gonna do is end this video here and make this kind of a 2-part video. I think I've just got a little bit too much footage, whereas when I put it all together, especially when the Quadzilla adapter comes and we do some more testing with that, it's just gonna be too long of a video. It'll be like 40 minutes long and no one's gonna wanna listen to me for 40 minutes talk. So I'm gonna do like 2 like 15-minute, 20-minute-ish type of videos, but I appreciate you guys watching. If you want anything else tested, let me know. I am gonna do taking the grid heater out. I have like a flow through plate that I would, like a grid heater delete that I'm gonna put in, see if it makes more power with that. And then I'm gonna put the stack on, see if it makes more power with that. just, you know, a silly little test, whether they work or not. It's just some good content. But if you guys want anything tested, just leave me a comment and I'll see what I can do. Thanks guys, and just be waiting for the next video.